Hey lords and ladies, it's your girl Cupcake Kavar again. This is the second one in my series of games that I am interested in from the recent E3 of 2018. It's still going on as I record this. It ends on the 14th, but I take my time, I think about it, and I write down things that I want. I'm kind of sounding off about this, thought processes, things that I know so far. It helps me organize my thoughts, and maybe if someone's curious, they can actually get a little more information as well. On this one, I'm talking about Anthem as my first one. Now, Anthem has been in development by BioWare for some time. When the whole EA BioWare thing happened, and last year, the delays, probably due to loot boxes, but that is simply speculation. Do not take that as fact. They have finally released the fact that they are wanting to have this game to come out February of next year, with a beta sometime this fall or winter, or demo. They said that it might be both. I'm not sure what they mean by that, but that's what they have reportedly said. Now, Anthem is interesting in that it's still a shared shooter game, but your city is going to be just you. You are going to be the main person in that city. You are going to craft your relationships in that city, and based on your decisions, who you befriend, who you make enemies of, the city itself, as well as the area around the city, will start to take shape. Now, the rough concept, I'm not going into the lore of this right now too terribly much, but the rough concept of Anthem is that the creators basically stopped creating and kind of dropped their tools and left. The tools were kind of left sitting around the planet. They can get very erratic, and if things start to muck around, let's say, the giant power saw, that's just an idea of like what they did, messed around with the giant power saw, things can get crazy. Animals can mutate, weather can suddenly change, and that's one of the reasons you and your kind are so special. You wear these suits. You can choose what suit you wear based on your mood or your necessity for the mission. And you have to wear these suits outside of cities. It is extremely dangerous to exist outside of cities without some sort of protection on. Now, people will be able to play together via mobile bases. These mobile bases will actually allow all of your friends to come in and play with you. I think from the looks of it, it'll only be about 4, counting yourself, be able to play with you. Now, there are the 4 different suits. The 4 different suits are Ranger, which is like your standard footman. There is the Colossus, which is like a heavy tank, heavy weapon type character. There's the Interceptor, whose abilities they didn't seem to show, and they clearly said that it was still in development. Okay. And there was also the Storm, which looked like it used some sort of quantum phasing ability, but again, they said those powers were not truly decided on either, which is interesting considering that the beta comes out soon, demo, tentatively. They probably might push that back too. Now, I personally think the Interceptor is kind of be like how it was in Mass Effect, where it was mostly stealth orientated, which may be why we didn't quote unquote see what the Interceptor could possibly do. Once again, that's just me being hypothetical. They said there will be no loading zones, and that makes sense to me because basically how I read it is that you'll go out into the world, and what happens is that it just loads. The world is loaded as a giant map, and there are various places you can go in that map. So you can fly through the air, you can go underwater, you can walk around on land, there's caves, things like that you can explore. Now, they will have things that you can purchase that are cosmetic, purely cosmetic, so that you can make your suits of armor look how you want them to look. Now, there are a couple of things I had to note when I was doing my research on this relationship and Anthem, the relationship between EA and BioWare. The main story of this was written by Mr. Drew, who wrote for Mass Effect 1 and 2. However, he'd left BioWare and had not written 3, if that is any indication for those of you who know what I'm talking about. He has since left Anthem as well. However, they have assured us that we should not worry about it because he has done his work. He finished up all his work for Anthem before leaving again. What that means, I honestly cannot say. It's just something to keep in mind. They do claim that they will be constantly updating stories for us. Again, I'm just curious as to how deep his hand goes in all of the stories that are written so far. Studio heads were also changed out in 2017. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. Everybody knows about EA and Battlefront, Andromeda's drama, even though they were kind of different studios, but people don't see that. Now, Anthem will be online only. You will not be able to play this game without being connected to the net. That is not to say that you cannot play this game solo. You can absolutely play this game solo, but you must have an internet connection to do so. Very much in the same vein as Destiny, it's going to be updated with story and world changes. The world changes, they say, will actually be in real time. Monsters will mutate in real time, randomly. There will be random weather changes and the like going on. At launch, for the moment, there will be no PvP. They have not stated whether or not they're going to actually add that. My thoughts on Anthem. I am tentatively curious. I want to say I'm excited, but to be truth of the matter is I'm not really excited yet about Anthem. Story sounds okay. There was not enough meat given to the story for me as the taste for me to go, okay, this is super exciting. I want to know more about this world, because I kind of don't. At the moment, like I said, at the moment, this could easily change as more information comes out. But I am curious about it. I am very curious about it. I mean, how many games can you say that I can basically be like Tony Stark and have one type of armor for every need? That doesn't come around every day. So in that respect, I am excited. The other respect, I am tentative and I am very cautious because of who BioWare is associating with. I'm sorry, EA, but you have had a lot of bad, not necessarily publicity, but choices. And I'm going to be extremely wary. That's just the reality of it. But I'm curious. I will give it a go. I'll definitely give the demo a go. And I'll probably update after I play the demo or after some more information's come out. Now, this next game I am actually super excited about. And that's Beyond Good and Evil 2. Ubisoft is putting that out. Now, Ubisoft did do Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that's cool too. Yeah, I might not. I'm not huge on that one. Believe it or not, as much as I do like Assassin's Creed, I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan. This is a game I've been waiting for a very long time. The original game came out in 2003. To give you how long I have been waiting for this game. Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks fantastic. I'm actually pretty excited about this one. It has been a very long time coming. Michael Ansel, he actually created Rayman. He always envisioned Beyond Good and Evil to be like a 3-part series. So theoretically, this would be part 2 in the trilogy that he's creating. Now, for a long time, he was being real mum. He was never saying whether or not this was being created. People would ask constantly, but he would never fully answer the question until like late last year, I believe. I saw one of the earlier promos that was released earlier this year, and it looked good. But this one that was just released, which I'm showing right now, is amazing. Amazing. He always wanted to create a game where he wanted the person to want to explore, to want to discover new things about the world that we exist in and make it a living world. And this world is that. Already, you can tell it's on another planet. The original one was already on another planet. And in fact, that game was in 2435 or something like that. So this world is bigger. You're actually going from planet to planet, I believe. The world is big, it's vivid, it's interesting and alive, and each character that we've already seen, we may not even know their name. Each character we've already seen has a personality. They're very unique, both in visuals and in the way they actually speak. There is some early pre-alpha gameplay where you can see they're taking the motion capture and adapting it to the characters. We'll see, there's nothing really to place bets on now. The original game was plagued by a few frame drops and some problems with the controls. People felt that you should have been able to do more with Jade, the main character in that game, than you were able to do. The story was fantastic, the characters were great, the graphics were very good. The controls really were the main thing that people had complaints about. So as long as they can continue with a good story, great graphics, deliver on the controls and the gameplay, and there will be multiplayer people, I think this is going to be a really strong winner if Ubisoft pulls this off well. Now, the multiplayer we don't know much about. The scenes they showed was basically some planes flying in formation, and they're working on making sure that you can actually keep track of all of your teammates. They weren't exactly very clear on how you would do that, but I'm kind of excited. When it comes to character motion, there will be, of course, the standard adventure, probably puzzle solving, because that's how it was in the original one, gameplay, but they also showed some jetpack gameplay, as well as, top of pirate ships or spaceships gameplay as well. So I'm actually really, really excited about that one. I really want this one to do well. I have been waiting for this one for a very long time. And Jade comes back in a form that we were not expecting. So the question that remains for me is, what the heck happened to Jade? And who's really the bad guy so far? I don't know. Graphics look fantastic. I get that it was a cinematic, but even for a cinematic, it looks beautiful. I think that about wraps up this episode of what I'm looking at. That was Anthem and Beyond Good and Evil 2. My next one will probably be much shorter because these games that I'm still kind of curious about don't have as much information out about them because they're still very early on. And I'll probably cover Nintendo in my next one too, just to go ahead and get that one out of the way. So I have all of them done. But thank you for listening in again. This has been Moderately Classy with Cupcake Kavara. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Have a great day.